good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And we are here again with a kind of tarot throwdown. We have the Sakki Sakki Tarot deck, which I know I've talked about before, but I haven't really broken it down in this way. And I think we're looking at a couple of different cards than I have in the past. As well, I have my version of the Rider Waite deck. It no longer has a box, so this is the bag it comes in at this point. It is the traditional tarot deck that most people have seen. If you start out like I did, where somebody gives you a deck of tarot cards, it's usually a Rider Waite deck, unless they find one that super speaks to them about who you are as a person, like this one does. This one was also gifted to me. So I like the idea of kind of comparing two cards at the same time, and just kind of so you can see the differences between them real time. So with that said, we have the Knight of Swords. So we're going to talk more about the Rider Waite deck first and then the Sakki Sakki deck, but I wanted to start out showing you both cards so you could kind of see them side by side and see some of those similarities right away. The Knights are, of course, usually representative of individuals, younger individuals in their 20s, maybe into their 30s. They're not necessarily fully mature adults yet, but they're doing most of the things adults would do. And they're striking out on their own, discovering new things, and moving forward, which I do think both of these cards do show that. So let's talk about the Rider Waite one first and all of the fun symbolism that is in there, and then we'll move on to seeing if the Sakki Sakki card even has half of that kind of stuff. So swords are dealing with air and intellect and all of that kind of stuff. They are usually represented with a lot of the yellows and golds and things like that. And there is kind of a yellowish mountain in the background, but he kind of has more reds and blues in there. I've never really liked when cards do that, but this is a traditional one, so we're going to go with it. He is clearly moving forward. There is so much movement and energy in this card. This is an individual typically represented in the sense of thinking fast, moving fast, growing, exploring, doing all those kinds of things, learning about themselves, learning about their philosophies, and all of those kinds of things. This is a person who dives right in and usually rushes to conclusions as well. So again, we've all been there as teenagers. We think that we're right about all the things. So, and then later on we learn and we slow down. The Knights are in the court cards. They come after the pages. So the pages are kind of more of a curiosity and a wonderment, whereas now this is moved into an energy of I'm doing things. I'm activating the things that I have learned when I was young. So this is kind of an activist card as well. The clouds are even moving quickly in this. You can see it's not big fluffy clouds. They're kind of like airstream sort of things. Maybe if this was in a time period where there were jets, it would be kind of a jet thing going on. Even the trees look like the wind is blowing against them. So everything in this card is air and movement and energy. So when you look at the Knight of Swords, you want to see all of those kinds of things. I really like that he still kind of, while he has a determined face, it's not really an angry sort of face. It's just like, I'm going to do this thing. And obviously there is a sword represented. I definitely like when swords are on the sword cards, which, as we move into this one, well, we lean into the yellow aspect of the air sign stuff because we do have a bright yellow horse. In fact, it kind of looks like a giraffe. This is one of the things I like about this card is that it's very abstract. It's very whimsical. So I don't know that it's necessarily a giraffe. It could be just a giraffe, elongated neck looking horse, but I like thinking of it as a giraffe. So you have the sword. It's a very ornate sword. And again, there's a lot of forward movement in this because he is leaning into the horse. The horse is leaning forward. I do also like that he seems to be kind of gritting his teeth, which again, in a very abstract way, he looks almost robotic. He's got very square eyes. The mouth is kind of almost disturbing skeletal like, but you can see he's like gritting his teeth. And again, that's that energy of like determination and grit and excitement and all of those kinds of things and activism. I like that he is actually on the mountains in this one. You can see there's some hills and mountains in the Rider Waite one, but in this one, he's actually like climbing these mountains. He's actually conquering all of these things. So this is, again, more of that mental struggle of learning who you are in the world, what your philosophies are, why you're doing the things you're doing, rushing ahead into like activism and politics and all of that kind of stuff, while standing your ground and learning that, you know, sometimes you get up on that high horse, you're going to fall. But this is why I really like him being on the mountain itself. Mountains are representative of struggle and overcoming and growth and kind of stepping up to higher levels. And here he's actively on these mountains, actively climbing them. So I get a lot of energy from that. Is that what they meant? I have no idea. I just go by what I get out of the card. There's also a lot of movement in the clouds again that don't even look like clouds. They kind of look like sun rays breaking through the clouds, or maybe even just bright icicles or something in the background. It does kind of look like he might be in a cave and bursting out of the cave. Maybe he just defeated a monster in the cave. Either way, there's so much energy in this knight, even though he doesn't necessarily have as much movement as the one in the Rider Waite deck. I still see the movement. I still see him like his arms are open with that energy of like, oh yeah, come get me, come at me. And I like that because it feels like you're diving into this energy with him. We've all been there where it's like, yeah, I'm going in. I don't care if it's right or wrong. I'm going to do this thing. I believe in it and all that. Yes, that is definitely the energy of this particular knight. So, do I like this card as far as representing the more traditional energies? Yes, because at least it is a knight on a horse, maybe a giraffe, and he's holding a sword. So we have the sword, we have the person on a horse or horse-like animal. So we know that it is the Knight of Swords. Also at the very bottom, it says Knight of Swords on there. You can see it really clearly. That is the one thing I like about both of these, is that you can clearly see it says Knight of Swords on the bottom. They're almost the same font. They're a really similar font. I've never noticed that before. Also, the of is better on this one than this one. That was my font moment for you guys. So, air, movement, energy, intellect, activism, moving forward, diving in, all of those things are represented by the Knight of Swords. And I think in both cards it's very well represented. And hopefully you do too. Again, the Sakki Sakki Tarot deck is really fun. It's super abstract, but in the right environment, I think it totally fits in. And as far as the cards that I've looked at so far with it and shared with you guys, I think it sticks pretty much to the traditional cards. So, if you're interested in anything tarot related, check out the links in the description below. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you soon.